Hi friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. In today's video, I'm talking about my reading plans for November. So let me preface this by saying I am planning to do NaNoWriMo this year, which means I'm not planning to do as much reading as I usually do. I have a few books that I am definitely going to be reading in the month of November, but everything else is kind of we'll see if I get to it. And I may not get to nearly as many books as I typically do because I am planning to be doing a lot more writing. So wish me luck. I'm like super intimidated by it, but I hope it goes well. And I'm planning to do like some reading sprints, things throughout the month. So that's happening. However, there are still some books I'm definitely going to be reading, and then some books that are on my pile of possibilities, things that I may pick up this month or may get pushed back to later, depending on how things go. Let's start with the things that I know I'm going to be reading. First up, for Patreon and member book club this month, it was Nonfiction November, and every month some of my patrons have the chance to vote on which book we're going to read and discuss together at the end of the month. For this month, the book that was picked for book club was How the Word Is Passed, A Reckoning with the History of Slavery Across America by Clint Smith. I have heard really good things about this, and it's been on my TBR for a while. I had an advance copy sent to me from a friend who tabbed it up, and I know I'm super late. I've been meaning to read this ever since then and keep putting it off, but we are reading this in November. I've heard really good things and excited to check this out with everybody and discuss at the end of the month. Then some of my higher tier patrons have the chance to suggest and vote on books that they want to see me do a reading vlog for, and so every month I do an exclusive reading vlog that is available to everybody in patrons and channel members at $5 a month and above. And for November, the book that was selected for me to read and vlog was Wayward by Amelia Hart, which I'm really excited about. I got this from Book of the Month and haven't read it yet, but like, look at the cover, it's gorgeous. I also do have the audiobook because I got it from Libra FM, and it sounds good. So it's got 3 different time periods and POVs. I think it's witchy. It's got one thing set in 2019 with a woman fleeing London for a ramshackle cottage. She's fleeing an abusive partner. There's a secret in the cottage. Then in 1619, Alpha is awaiting trial for the murder of a local farmer who was stampeded to death by his herd. So people think that she's a witch. And then in 1942, during World War II, Violet is trapped in her family's grand crumbling estate. And yeah, I don't know, it's just interesting. It's sounds good. I've been interested in checking it out. I think the cover is gorgeous, so I'm excited to read and vlog that. Then a couple of read-alongs. We are finally finishing up the Circle of Magic read-along with Shatterglass by Tamara Pierce. This is book 4 in the Circle Open series, the second quartet. This is Triss's book, and I am excited to finish off the series and discuss it with everybody. I'm also going to be reading Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb, the final book in the Tawny Man trilogy. The discussion for this is going to be probably like the first or second week of December, so stay tuned for that. But I'm excited to continue with this. Robin Hobb is always a good time. And then for Chapter 3 podcast, me and Izzy are going to be talking about the Bright Falls series. So I'm going to be reading Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail and the forthcoming Iris Kelly something or other. Iris Kelly doesn't what is it? Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. These are all sapphic romances. The first book in the series was Delilah Green Doesn't Care, which I loved. It was one of my favorite romances the year it came out, and I've been excited to continue on with the series, so we're going to be discussing all 3 books. I don't know if I'll have time to reread Delilah, but I will definitely be reading the second 2 books in the series. I don't know what me and Leanna are doing in November, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So those are all the books that I am definitely going to be reading in November. Everything else is a maybe. We'll see. We'll see what I get to. We'll see how much writing I do, but no promises. Because it is Nonfiction November, I have 2 books left to read on my Nonfiction TBR for 2023, and so I may pick up one or both of these. I have Women, Race, and Class by Angela Davis, who I've been meaning to read for a long time, and Killing Rage, Ending Racism by Bell Hooks. So, you know, we clearly have a theme going if I read all 3. I don't know that I'll read all 3, but I'm going to try try to at least pick up one of these. I would also like to read The Reformatory by NaNoWriMo. I have a signed copy of it. I might try to see if I can get this on audio. I don't know. I know this is going to be difficult because it is a paranormal take on real history of a boys' reform school in Jim Crow era South, and it is rough from what I hear, but also her writing is excellent. So I would like to read this. I don't know if I'll get to it in November, but it's a possible thing. And then everything else is things that I have for review that I may get to in November, or I may get to some of these in December. We'll see. I've got The Christmas Cabin by Michelle Major. This is a small town holiday romance from an author who I really like. I've read several books from her, all set in the small town. This one is holiday romance following a young woman who left her small town years ago, thought she would never be back, but now she is, and she's reconnecting with her ex-husband. So should be fun if I need a little bit of a break from things. I also have Courting Samira by Amal Awad. It's coming out in November. It's a contemporary romance. A 27-year-old Muslim woman finds herself in an unexpected love triangle in this charming and frothy debut set in Sydney, Australia. That sounds like fun. I may get to that. I was also sent a copy of A Power Unbound by Freya Marsk by Tor.com, so thank you to them. This also goes on sale in November. It is the final book in this trilogy of queer historical fantasy romance murder mysteries, which is a lot. So I'm really excited to read this last one. It follows Jack and Alan. Should be a good time, and there's yet another mystery to unfold in this magical version of Regency England. I've got System Collapse by Martha Wells, the next installment in the Murderbot Diaries. I love the series. I love Murderbot, and I think this will be fun. I guess this one is a full-length novel, but it's a short novel. So it is a full-length novel, but it's like 240 pages, so it's not super long. And then the final physical book that I have is The Spirit Bares Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White. I was very kindly sent a finished copy of this from my wish list by a patron, so thank you so much to Stephanie for that. But I was also sent a copy for review around the same time from the publishers, like an ARC copy. And this is a transgressive gothic horror with a trans main character who is being put into an institution in like 1800s England. I don't know. I loved the debut novel from this author. I think he did an amazing job, and I'm very excited to read another book from him. Lastly, I have some NetGalley releases that I may get to. Again, some of these are going to get pushed to December. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Godly Heathens by H.E. Edgemon. This is a YA contemporary horror kind of paranormal book, from what I understand, with a queer indigenous teen main character. Do Your Worst by Rosie Dannon. This is a contemporary romance that sounds like fun. Sparks fly when an occult expert and a disgraced archaeologist become enemies with benefits in this steamy romance. I've really enjoyed other things that I've read from Rosie Dannon in the past, and so this looks like it could be good. Hunt on Dark Waters by Katie Robert. This is the first book in her new pirate romance series, which sounds like fun. And then finally, I have The Ruined by Renee Audier. This is the last book in the Beautiful series, which is her kind of historical murder mystery take on vampires and other paranormal beings, and I've really enjoyed the whole series, so I am hoping to read the final book as well, and it comes out in December. So those are the books that are on my radar for November. I don't know how much reading I'm actually going to get done. We'll see how it goes. I also, of course, do have a couple of projects in the background that I'm working on that I may make progress on this month, but honestly, all bets are off. I have a handful of books that I'm committed to reading, but other than that, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the month goes. It should be interesting. So stay tuned. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I talked about in this video. And for your question of the day, let me know what your plans in November are. Are you going to be reading a lot? Are you going to be writing? Anyone else joining NaNoWriMo? You know, it's going to be interesting. If you want writing updates, I am planning on having some of those available to some tiers of Patreon. I am tentatively saying this because I'm nervous about it, but we're going to try. So Let me know what your plans for the month are. Talk to me in the comments down below. If you like this video, it always helps if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.